Hello, I'm Rebecca Flaherty, and in today's tutorial we're making a fun symmetrical pattern featuring ladybirds and bold folk art florals. This is the second template in this series, perfect for creating a balanced, playful design using the symmetry tool. This pattern is definitely advanced level. We're combining diamond patterns with a bit of geometric style layout techniques. I'll show you how to place the stamps and get everything lined up neatly with the diamond method, and you can mix and match the floral and little animal critter stamps however you like. Don't forget your free colour palette from the Pattern Maker's Toolkit to make your pattern really pop. You can also now share your patterns in the community tab if you want to show off what you've made. Let's get started. So let's just get rid of this layer. If you want to know what that's all about, I've explained that in the first video in this series, but I'm just going to gloss over that and, oops, not duplicate it, delete it, and we'll get rid of that one. So first thing you'll notice is this template looks quite a bit different. This template is a real mix and match one. You can pick any two motifs for these two different size circles and any flower shapes you like for these spots. I'm going to open this up and just turn off the pattern layer for now. We'll come to that bit in a moment. We're going to do something a bit different with this pattern to how we normally build them out, so it does need a bit more of an introduction, and if you do want to skip right to the part where I actually start drawing, I'll put the timestamp for that on the screen now so you can skip to that. So I normally say don't duplicate motifs in your final artwork layers, but for this pattern nothing needs rotating or scaling, so we can actually just draw one of the motifs that goes in this and use it to fill all the others. One of these shapes, use it to fill all the others, and the same for that one, because we don't need to rotate it or scale it, so there isn't a problem with losing image quality. There is one but though, and it's that we are going to be flattening artwork as we go, which is another thing that I'm not usually keen on doing, at least not for artwork that I might want to recolor or sell as a layered file. If I'm just playing around, I will flatten the heck out of anything, but for this one, we are going to flatten copies of just one of these motifs. There's two ways of tackling this. You could take the easy or the fun route and just keep one grouped copy of each motif and then flatten the rest. You can always go back to your layered motif if you do want to change anything, and then you could just rebuild the pattern with that layout, which isn't the worst thing in the world to have to do. If you do build your finished patterns on the computer anyway, like I do, then it's even easier. The other options are to either duplicate the whole group each time, but that takes a lot of layers, which again isn't a problem on the computer where there isn't a limit on layers, but we're in Procreate where there is. So the other option, which is quite laborious, but if you do want to have everything on one layer per colour, you could draw every single motif one layer at a time on the same layer. So for example, you draw all of these leaves for each motif on one layer of the canvas. But that would definitely take a long time. And the thing is, I am all about making pattern design in Procreate easy, accessible and fun. So the compromise we're going with today is draw it once, keep a layered copy, but then flatten the rest. Everything is still going to be pixel perfect, perfect image quality, and you will still be able to go back and edit if you want to. It will just take a little bit more work is all. Okay, disclaimer and explanation over. Let's actually get started now. Let's start in the sketch group. We don't kind of need the diamond layout as such for this one. What we're going to do is start working on this motif in the middle. So I am going to use this flower here, C, from this one, and I'm going to start on, let's start on the draw here first layer, and I'm going to stamp that into this one up there, and then go up to our canvas settings, go to canvas, turn the drawing guide on, edit the drawing guide, go to symmetry, options, and make sure you've got vertical and assisted drawing on there. Then you can tap the tick up there, and if you turn it so that kind of you've got a straight line going down through there, you should be able to make sure you've got drawing assist on, kind of stamp there, and it should be roughly in the right place for you. So that's all we need to do for the sketch layout for this motif. We can go straight into our pattern folder now, turn this on. You can hide these two guides for now, we'll be using those later. So let's start tracing over this one. I'm going to use this second lightest orange, make sure I'm on a new layer. I'm going to turn drawing assist on. I have a shortcut set up so that when I tap this, this turns drawing assist on and off for me. If you want to set that up on yours, you can go to actions, preferences, gesture controls, I think, and go to assisted drawing and have this one up here as the option if you want to use that as a shortcut. So I do have assisted drawing set up now, so I'm just going to draw the stems for this one first. Make sure I've got the right brush. One day I will. There we go. Then put this one on. Then I'm going to draw the leaves in as well. And we use colour drop. Then on a layer above, I'm going to make sure I've got drawing assist on, and I'm going to do these middle bits there. I'm going to turn the template down a bit so we can see what's underneath. Make sure I'm on that layer again. And then if you had any bits of this one underneath that was sticking out, you can go back down to that one and just erase any bits of that that needed erasing. And then those can be pinched together. Add a layer underneath now. I'm going to grab this red and do this first petal in that colour with drawing assist on. Then add another layer underneath, drawing assist on again. We use that pink to do these two. One more layer underneath and yellow for this middle section, but with drawing assist on. Then I'm going to add a layer right at the top here. Use this dark orangey red colour, a thinner brush, and I'm going to turn drawing assist on and just add some extra little motifs to the leaves like this. One more layer, grab the colour shifter brush, and I think I'm going to switch between pink and yellow for this. Turn drawing assist on, see what size we've got, just fill in these little dots here. And then that is the illustration that we're going to do for this central motif. So what I'm going to do now is group all of that up in one group. I can call this one stems. We can now add a layer. I'm going to hide that and the group. And what we need to do now is pick a motif that's going to go in each of these. I'm going to use this flower here for this one. The bigger motifs are going to be this flower. So what I'll do is go ahead and put all of that in this so that when I'm kind of laying it out, I know where everything's going to go. And for these smaller ones, I'm going to use this beetle at the bottom. So let's put those in. And I'm also going to flip some of these around, so some of these will be upside down, but I'll just stamp them all in first. And I'm not going to worry about making sure these are perfectly lined up in the sketch layer because we will deal with alignment when we're building out the pattern. So let's go on this layer and I'm going to flip this one upside down. and then this one. I think I'll leave all the rest the other way up. You can pick and choose and flip these around as you'd like. Let's put that layer in our sketch folder, and we can actually turn this off now. Add a new layer. Let's start with the ladybird. Stamp that one in there. Turn off the canvas, and we're going to center this little guy on the canvas now. So center him like that. So you've got those orange lines intersecting in the middle. Then add a layer here, a new pattern group. So let's turn drawing assist on this layer, and we can start to trace this little guy in. Let's start with the legs. And these little antennae. Then add another layer, make this one drawing assist 2, and we'll use the mid blue colour to do the head. Add another layer above and use this red for the body. Then on another layer I'm going to use the thinner brush. I'll turn drawing assist on, and I'm just going to do some little motifs in the middle here. And put some dots in, but I want these all to be the same colour, so if I make both colours the same, then I can use this to make the dots the same colour. There we go, so that's how the ladybird is going to look. We can now group all of these together. Call that one beetle or ladybird, whichever one you think it looks more like. Then go back up to our sketch folder. You can hide that one, hide this one, add a layer, and now we just need to stamp our flower in. Let's stamp that in there, center it on the canvas like that. And for this one we need to change the canvas guides a little bit, so we'll edit drawing guide, tap on symmetry options, and we want this to be radial. Tap on the tick, then come down to the pattern group, add a layer, turn drawing assist on, and we can start to trace this in now. So I'm going to start with the, every time, with the drawing brush, and make sure I've got the right size, and just do this outer flower in this colour. Then add a layer. I'll do the middle bit in yellow. Then add a layer underneath that one, and I'm going to use that creamy colour to do another circle in there. Another layer underneath, pink now. Make sure you've got drawing assist on, and I'll draw these petals in. Another layer. I use the colour shifter dot. I'm going to set both to the same colour. Just turn drawing assist on and do a dot in each of those. And then one last layer, which I can actually do it on the same as this one because it's going to be on this same colour. And I want to use the outliner and the thin brush, and I'm just going to do some extra little shapes on here. There we go. So then we can group these up. Call this one flower. So that's all of our different motifs done now. We've got all of those illustrated, and in the next step we're going to use these to build out the pattern. So in our sketch folder we want to turn the canvas template back on, and the layout that we did, I'm going to make the colours on this a bit darker. so you can see that a bit better. So I'll fill that with this dark blue. There we go, hopefully you can see that a bit better now. So then I'm going to duplicate each one of these and flatten a copy. So now we've got a flattened copy of each one of these. So with lining these up, you've got two options. You can just roughly place them on the canvas. So you could just kind of go like that. That's one approach, and that will work. You can then duplicate that and put it in the other spots. However, if you want these to be perfectly lined up, we can combine a bit of what we've learned in the geometric pattern tutorials and use these snapping guides to line things up perfectly. We'll start with the flower. So the first thing to do is to center this on the canvas. I would hide everything else apart from this flower, tap transform and just make sure that's centered on the canvas there. You want orange lines crossing top and bottom and side to side. Then you can turn these guides back on and turn the sketch on. So duplicate this flower motif, tap transform, and you should find that you're able to snap it into place up there. It's snapping to the top of this rectangle and the edge of that one where they intersect. Then you can duplicate it again and snap it in place there. Then grab this vertical marker, tap transform, bring this over to the edge, make sure that's snapped there with your orange lines. Then you can duplicate these top two, grab them both, and then you can snap those both over there as well. So that's those in place. If you want to, if you're getting short on layers, you can flatten these as you go. So you could flatten those all on one layer now and just keep one of these to work with. What you need to do now is duplicate this horizontal one and move that and snap it in line with that one there, like that. Then you can duplicate this, and if you hide the other one underneath, that's going to make this a bit easier. Tap transform and snap that into the middle of that box there. Then you can duplicate this. If you duplicate the guide as well and grab them both together, turn your other guide on, tap transform, and then snap this down to there. You can get rid of that extra guide and also that top one there. Now, if that felt too complicated, as I said, you absolutely can just put these in place freehand using the sketch. It will still look kind of cute and geometric. Everything won't be perfectly lined up, but yeah, if that is blown your mind and you really don't want to do that, you can just turn snapping off and just put a copy of those on freehand. So don't worry if that is just too fiddly and too annoying. But if you do want to have them perfectly lined up, that's how we're doing it. So once you've got all of those, you can pinch those all onto one layer and we can hide that for now. And don't forget, we've still got this grouped copy down there if you wanted to go back and change anything. So now we can turn the flower and the ladybird on and we can do those at the same time. So let's do the flower first. We can put that up here and snap it to the edge of this box and then move it along and snap it to the center of that one. Then you can duplicate it and snap one down here. The ladybird can snap down there in between them. Then this vertical one we can move along. Snap it into the middle like that. Duplicate the ladybird. We can put him up there. Duplicate again. Can go down the bottom and we can flip that one around. The flower can go in the middle there. and then we just keep working our way along the canvas, moving this vertical one along each time. So snap that to the middle there. And if you want to merge these as you go, just keep one separate flattened one. You can keep the layers under control by merging as you go. So we'll duplicate this one. Put that one in the middle there. Move this one along to the edge now, and then it's just these here we need to do. Then we need to do these two there. And to do that we need to duplicate this middle marker. So duplicate that, snap one down to here. You can hide the other one, move this one over there, and we'll do these two. Then move this one along to there. Then I'll turn this one back on, snap the other one to the top of it now. Flower motif will snap into there. One last ladybug to do. Snap that one over there. And pop that one in there. Now we can flatten all of these into three different layers. We can hide the markers, get rid of the extra one, and we can put our flower stems on. Let's just turn the template up. You'll see this one over here is pink, and that's because this one is part of the extra group, which we normally put in pans. So what I'm going to do is duplicate this stems one, turn it on and flatten another copy, and then we need to make sure this is centered on the canvas. Then we can put a mark off each corner, which, because we've got Drawing Assist on, is going to do it on all the corners. That's fine. Duplicate this layer, tap transform, and we're going to snap half of it over to here, making sure you've got orange lines crossing in all those areas. And then the other one, we're going to snap over here. Again, just really make sure you've got that orange line there. Then you can pinch those together and then just cut off those marks. And then that can also be pinched down the rest on that layer. So the only two motifs that really need to be precise are this first one in the middle. If you start with that one centered, because you then need this one in the exact same position. But all of that snapping and moving around with those guides, if you don't want to do that, as I said, you can just use the freehand moving to duplicate and just roughly place it over those. So yeah, I can't emphasize that enough. If this tutorial seems hideous because of all that snapping and stuff and you hate all of that kind of stuff, just move it freehand and line it up by eye, as long as you've got this one and that one in the right place. So let's hide the background layer, swipe down with 3 fingers and copy all. Then up the top here we can paste, we can hide the layers, turn our background on, and it's going to be, you could either go for this dark colour here or you could make it that light colour. Then we're going to put a mark going off those two opposite corners, duplicate, and then build this out the way we normally do, making sure we're snapping it into each of the corners. Pinch the top four together. Get rid of those marks in the middle. And the ones on the corners. Then you can pinch those together, and then we're going to test how the pattern's working. The real biggest test on this is to make sure that you've got this extra one where we split it and put it on the sides. That's kind of the trickiest part of this one. So let's swipe down with 3 fingers and copy all. Then add a layer and we'll fill it with this dark blue. Swipe down again and paste. Snap this up into the middle there. Duplicate and snap it over to this edge, and then just zoom in and make sure that this is looking okay there. And that's looking all right, so we can pinch those together. Again, just pan along here and make sure that's all right. And that's how this pattern is looking in repeat. Don't forget to show off your finished patterns in the community tab. I can't wait to see your finished versions. You can grab the templates and stamp brushes from my Etsy store, and there's a free colour palette in the Pattern Maker's Toolkit. The Pattern Maker's Toolkit is a creative space for your pattern making journey, filled with brushes, palettes and resources to follow along and stay inspired. It's free to join, and the monthly email is the only place to get your hands on the free stamp brush sets to follow along with the cozy colouring time lapses this year. You'll also get 10% off all the premium templates in my Etsy store, early access to some YouTube tutorials, plus all the free brushes, palettes, templates and mock-ups in the resource library. Think of it as your monthly dose of colour, fun and pattern making chaos. If you'd like to join, just follow the link in the description. That's all from me this week. Have fun, stay creative, and I will see you soon.